Tyler, joining the show right now. Thanks so much for being here. When you saw that board, first thing that came to your mind?
Well, thanks for having me. I don't know. It's a bunch of names there that I never thought I'd be associated with, so it's just kind of cool to look at notable people.
Well, baseball is a crazy game, and I got so many questions I want to ask you. But the first one I want to ask you is, were you counting? Did you count? I mean, were you aware? Be honest. Were you counting? Because I know I would have counted, and it would have lasted a lot less. But it's impressive to get 9 in a row. Were you counting?
I mean, yeah, obviously. I struck out the side. I struck out the first 3 guys, and I've never struck out more than 4. So I struck out the side the next inning, and then the 3rd inning, I counted every single one of them.
The other question I have, I mean, I know this game has a lot of opportunities for guys to strike some guys out, right? But I also know that not every arm is going to stay in the bullpen. Would you like to be a starter, and do you hope you can get to be a starter? What is your preference at this point if they came to you and said, hey, what would you like to do?
Well, I want to be a starter. They've asked me that, and I've told them that eventually I want to be a starter. But I want to work my way into that. If I have to earn it by throwing out of the bullpen for a little bit, then that's fine with me. So I've done that a little bit this year. I've short relief. I've gotten 1 guy out. I've come in for almost 4 innings. So I've done a little bit of both. And I want to start eventually, as long as I've earned it.
Tyler, congratulations again on this historic outing. I know post-game you said that your phone was off when you were asked how many people you've heard from. How many congratulations did you get in texts, emails? Who did you hear from that stood out to you?
Well, I had to plug my phone in after the game, and I had around 200 texts. So it took me a while to sift through those, but you go through and you find the ones from family first. And dig through all that, and then slowly try to get to everybody.
200 text messages? Have you ever gotten 200 text messages before?
I would think that would be very worthy. That is an elite number. To just hear that, as a pitcher, I never got 7 is when I got 7 at the end of my career, which is crazy in St. Louis. But I think the greatest thing about that is when you're in rhythm, it just happens, and the next thing you know, you're looking at a list and we're talking about it in a most unreal way. That's got to be the greatest feeling in the world. I got to ask you, when you make the transition, because I would believe you will make the transition, you'll be a starter, do you deviate at all? Are you doing anything different out of the pen velocity-wise that would alter if you're starting, or you're just basically starting out of the bullpen right now?
That's my goal. I'm throwing well in the role that I'm in now, so if I eventually do get moved as a starter, I'm going to try to keep the mindset and everything that I've been going now pretty similar, with the exception of hopefully I'll be going a little bit more than 4 innings. But I started a little bit last year. I relieved a little bit last year. The goal is to kind of just keep it all same.
Tyler, your name mentioned amongst Hall of Famers, being interviewed by a Hall of Famer. Your stuff is now being sent to the Hall of Fame. How meaningful is that to you?
It's just something you dream about doing one day, and it's kind of cool that I was able to do something that was notable enough to go to the Hall of Fame. I never thought that would ever happen.
Did you do anything during quarantine that led up to this in terms of getting ready, preparing? I talked to your quarantine roommate, Drew Smith, who gave me a little intel on you. I know, I like that smile. I did my recon homework. And he was saying that you guys were grinding day in and day out, working on your grip. So what specifically do you feel like you worked on that helped you here?
It was awesome living with him. Yeah, we just would go back and forth about everything we were doing. He was learning the cutter at the time, and I was kind of messing around with the slider, so we sort of gave each other tips back and forth on how we throw what. Quarantine life was interesting. We had a balcony we worked out on. Ran around our apartment complex a little bit. did what we could to stay in shape.
Well, you did a fantastic job, and it showed on Sunday. Pretty amazing. Tyler, let the fans get to know you a little bit better. Growing up, who was your favorite player? Who did you root for as a baseball fan?
Cliff Lee. I feel like as a lefty strike thrower too, I idolized him, especially, he didn't throw hard either. So there was a lot of stuff that I liked in his mechanics and everything that I've sort of tried to emulate.
All right, before we let you go, let's review one more time where your name sits and how many records you were able to collect, because this was pretty impressive. And when you took a look at this list, most consecutive strikeouts by a reliever, most consecutive strikeouts by a Tiger, you go on and on and on. Which one of these to you is the one that you want to be remembered most for?
Well, I guess, as a Tiger, I want to stay here as long as I can, play as long as I can. Randy Johnson, though.
Denny McLain's pretty good. I can tell you that right now. Growing up a Tiger fan myself, and quick note: I was driving in the car, listening to Doug Fister's 9 strikeouts in a row on the radio when I went back home, and the excitement that an announcer, now as a broadcaster myself, I would get so carried away with each one, knowing what was coming. So congratulations to you. That's an awesome accomplishment, and best luck to you going forward.